Hello everyone, this is Marie Blue Angel, and today I am back with Love and Country, the demo. Last time we had seen Lillian meet Émile de Rosier, her partner for her first spy assignment, and it was a time. He is a character, the bar is a chaotic setting, things happen. And now we find Lillian on the next day, leaving Paris to start her assignment and hopefully find Emile in this crowd. I like the setting here where it's just kind of like this is the train station and people are traveling, wearing their hats and their coats and things. So we'll see if we get to find him very easily or not. We'll see. Anyways, let's just get into it. The next morning, I head to the Gare de l'Est, which with plenty of time, making sure we're not going to be late. It's crowded here with people coming and going, and especially crowded with soldiers, though I hope they are doing the former. Footsteps echo as travelers run for their trains. Voices from the crowd seem to reverberate against the high ceilings, melting into an indeterminate din. I've been milling around the platform for 15 minutes now, but there's no sign of Emile yet. Oh my gosh, Emile, where are you? I looked at the large clock overhead. He told me not to be late. Looks like I'm the one waiting around. Hypocrite. For the sake of killing time, I pull a map from my handbag and begin to study it. Okay, this looks like Germany. Wait, where are we? Oh my gosh. Right? On the right side, that'd be like Germany. Okay, hold on, let me see. I don't know. The city of Lorach is situated on Germany's southern border along the bank of the Rhine, across the river from the Swiss city of Basel. So this is Basel. Okay. Southern Lorach is across. Okay, so it's just right here. Okay, I need to situate myself. Where are we going? I don't know. Okay, oh, it circled it for me. Thank you. Since you cannot directly travel from France to Germany anymore, we'll most likely take a train to Switzerland. Basel seems like a logical point for crossing. My map doesn't refold quite as easily, but after some creative creasing, I managed to get it back down to its original shape and size. I look at the clock again. It's now 11:30. I'd be worried, and still no sign of Emile. I tap my foot, but it fails to distract me from my own anxiety. Where the hell is he? He didn't mention our departure time, but I'm beginning to worry that we may be cutting it close. I head over to the timetable posted on the wall. There's only one direct route to Basel, and that train leaves in 15 minutes. I scramble over to the line to purchase tickets. The ticket seller warns me that I'll not likely make it in time, but I insist on 2 tickets, toss my money on the counter, and run back to the platform. Oh, cute! I like your blues, girl. I'm out of breath when I get there, but the train is still boarding. Whipping my head around, I search for Emile, but to no avail. If I board this train now, I'll be on my own. He may or may not catch up. If we weren't on this train, I'm not sure we'll get to Lorach today. Margot did warn me that time was of the essence. One of the attendants sticks his head out of the vestibule. Vous montez, mademoiselle? Are you boarding, miss? I feel like we need to go for the mission, you know? Board the train. The train whistle shrieks. I grit my teeth. This is it. I have to go now. Oui, j'arrive. Yes, I'm coming. And as the words leave my lips, I see the driving rods start to shift. The train starts groaning forward. Dépêchez-vous. Hurry. He holds out his hand to me. I haul my luggage forward for him to catch, walking alongside the train to keep pace. Grabbing my wrist, he whips me up into the doorway. Ah, merci beaucoup, monsieur. Thank you, mister. He tips his hat at me before scooping up my bags and leading me into the train car. I make myself comfortable in a vacant seat, letting the attendant stow my luggage overhead. My stomach flutters wildly. I try to gather my thoughts as I settle in, removing my hat and gloves. This is crazy. I shouldn't be doing this alone. But what other choice did I have? Émile never showed.
I don't know. I'm not a spy. Was it a good choice to go? I don't know. But where's Émile? Maybe he's already on the train?
In a strange way, I did get my wish. I have to wonder if that's a good thing, though. I hug myself and rest my head against the window to steady my nerves. I'm no stranger to travel, but it has mostly been chaperone, the kinds of trips that would be deemed proper for a young lady. This is entirely different. There's no safety net. The prospect of crossing the border on my own and under false pretenses is daunting, to say the least, and that's the easy part.
Oh, yeah, well, he's the one who's supposed to get us into the country surreptitiously, so maybe this wasn't a good idea. Okay, we'll see what happens.
Getting back to Switzerland with Denim in tow will be harder. I just have to hope that Émile catches up later. If he wants to, that is. For all I know, he may have quit spy work after meeting me last night.
Well, unlikely.
Gazing out the window, I barely take in the passing city. Instead, I picture the task ahead of me and was coming up blank. What should I expect? I feel like I'm walking down a dark hallway, knowing only that I need to reach the end of it. As the train pushes away from the city, the buildings begin to melt into farms. The land starts growing greener. One could almost forget that there's a war being waged just east of here. After a while, the initial anxieties I felt subside, leaving boredom in their wake. The rhythm of the train rocks me back and forth, and my eyelids begin to grow heavy. Blink, blink. No, I can't fall asleep, not while traveling alone. I need something to keep me awake. Perhaps a game? What can you tell me about that person? This is a question Margot asked me often when she first took me in. It was her way of testing my observation skills and deductive reasoning. I covertly direct my attention to my fellow passengers. On the opposite side of the car is a small family. The mother is dressed in black. She is in mourning. The father's nowhere to be seen. Perhaps lost at the front. Her 2 children, a boy and a girl, look too young to be much help to their exhausted mother. The girl tugs on her mother's skirts, begging for her mother to kiss the winking doll clutched in her other arm. The boy swings his skinny legs back and forth, kicking the seat in front of them. I hope this family is on their way to a relative who might provide some assistance. Little ones are a handful, even in the best of times. A few seats over from the family is a pair of nuns. The elder, too, has a sheen coating on her face. I suppose their habits must be very warm. Then again, the younger 2 of them seems perfectly comfortable, so comfortable that she is starting to nod off. The elder nun is watching her companion, waiting. As the younger finally gives in to the call of sleep, the elder lifts a shaking hand into her robes and pulls out a flask. I guess she has a drinking problem. God is still watching, sister. My eyes then come to rest on the man sitting across the aisle from me. There is no silver in his blonde hair, but there are slight lines near his eyes. He's in his early 30s, I'd wager. His suit is pressed and well cared for, but not ostentatious. He's definitely not a soldier. Perhaps he has the connections to avoid the front. The newspaper opened in front of him seems to have his rapt attention. He appears to be traveling alone, which means he could be here on business. A salesman, perhaps. I'd certainly buy whatever he had to sell.
Girl. I wince at myself.
Down, girl. But he is handsome, and there's no ring on his finger.
You have to be observant. You have to make deductive reasoning. This is it's not only useful for spy work, it's useful for filtering out eligible men that you may be interested in. Anyways, you're on a mission, girl. Where's Émile though? What happened to him?
Interesting. I watch his eyes scan the contents of his newspaper. They're brown. No lighter. Maybe hazel. And we make eye contact. Suddenly, those hazel eyes are locked with mine. I instinctively look away. Damn. I should have been more subtle while making my observations. Margot would be clicking her tongue at me in disapproval right now, were she here. I give the man a darting glance to see if he has returned to his paper. Not really. Our eyes meet again. Shoot. Well, now it's awkward if I don't acknowledge it. I offer a somewhat apologetic smile. He responds with a friendly wave. Having satisfied the social contact, he returns to his reading and I to my thoughts. Unfortunately, my thoughts keep turning back to him. I have an urge to steal another glimpse. When I ultimately give in, I'm startled to find him already watching me.
And I didn't read that sentence because I wanted to see his paper abandoned and folded in his lap.
Heat blossoms on my cheeks, prompting him to smile. It's a nice smile, too, the kind that draws people in. We hold each other's gaze for a moment. Now that we made contact, neither one of us seems sure what to do. After a beat, he seems to find his way again, giving a meaningful look towards the other passengers as if to say, "Did you see that?" He's directing my attention to the nuns. I nod my head enthusiastically, motioning my hands in the sign of the cross, then tip my hand like a bottle to my lips. We both look back to the nun just in time to see her sneak another swig from her flask, causing us to both laugh. I finally lean over the aisle to speak to him.
Oh, I like this. We get our little character sprites here. Okay, I know it's you. I don't know who you are.
Vous pensez que c'est de l'eau bénite ou du vin sacrificiel? Sacrificiel. Do you suppose that's holy water or sacrificial wine? He knits his brow, then offers an apologetic smile. Je suis désolé. Mon français n'est pas très bon. I'm sorry, my French isn't that good. Oh my! My eyes fell down to the paper on his lap.
That probably told me that he was looking, is probably German. I'm assuming it's German just because, you know, the things I've been told in the context, but I'm assuming this is Mr. Enemy Spy. But whatever, we'll see. It says Deutsch Allgemeine Zeitung. I don't know German, so I'm going to be skipping the German here to really save us all from not hearing me butcher German, except for this, I guess.
That's a German paper. How did I not notice that before? This may be a chance to practice my skills. I repeat my joke.
The joke about is that, sacrificial wine or holy water.
A look of delighted surprise crosses his face.
I'd say both, but it doesn't look like she'll be performing any miracles today. A smile.
His response makes me chuckle. How lucky am I that you speak German?
Blush, blush.
I modestly look down, almost by a reflex, before looking back at him through my lashes. He shifts his body to face the aisle, opening himself to the conversation.
How lucky I am to meet...
Oh, how lucky am I to meet someone to practice my German with? I have to say, it's rather bold of you to be reading a German newspaper on a train full of French people. He gives a self-effacing shrug.
I thought I could get away with it since it's not too crowded here. You are very observant. Are you American? Forgive me, I was guessing based on your accent.
The way he enunciates his English almost sounds British. He must have learned in some fancy European school. Does he come from money?
Your German is very good, though, as is your French, I'm assuming.
Oh, well, I still have work to do if you could tell that I was American right away.
Not at all. 3 languages is very impressive for one person.
It was the only way my parents would agree to finishing school in Europe. They wouldn't say yes until I could ask them in at least 2 other languages. I know a bit more than just French and German, but no need to bring that up. I don't want to seem braggadocious, even though I feel like he'd praise me for it. My knack for languages is a large part of why Margot took me on in the first place. I can't wait to tell her how I got to use my German without even leaving France.
So, you here for school?
Not anymore. I fell in love with Paris and decided to stay after graduating. Nothing expands one's horizons quite like travel.
Ah, and it's good to do it while you still have the time, even if you have to do it alone.
Yes. A slight knot forms in my stomach. A young woman traveling alone through a war-torn continent looks foolish. Not that it's my fault.
You Americans are so... Weissagman. So sorry to all the German speakers.
I study his face as he searches for the word. Ridiculous. Reckless. Foolhardy.
Intrepid.
He beams at me.
You are like Nellie Bly.
An American investigative journalist famed for taking a trip around the world in a record-breaking 72 days. That's a flattering assumption. The truth is my travel companion abandoned me.
It must have been quite the emergency to keep them away from someone like you. I'll gladly take their place if you'll have me. Okay. So, okay. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
This could be a pleasant distraction from my anxieties. After all, it's not a short train ride. That would be wonderful. He smiles as he slips across the aisle to sit with me. With him so near now, I can't help but feel a little giddy. He will definitely be distracting. As he gets settled, a stray blonde hair comes loose from his pomaded head and falls over one of his eyes. He doesn't brush it back, instead giving me his full attention. He's oddly carefree for someone so seemingly put together.
Oh, what should I call you, Fräulein?
I'm Lillian.
Oh, you want me to call you by your first name?
It suddenly occurs to me that he might see this as rude or presumptuous. Sorry, that isn't customary here, is it?
No, but for you, I'll make an exception. I'm Anton. Okay, Anton, hello. So, what's waiting for you in Switzerland, Lillian?
My lips part, ready with an answer, then abruptly close. Since I boarded the train so quickly, I hadn't really given proper thought to my cover story. His brows knit together in concern as I flounder. A visit to relatives is a safe enough reason to give. No one wants to get too deep into someone else's family business. I'm visiting an uncle. Another expat like me.
So, it runs in the family then?
Yes, wanderlust must be hereditary.
He chuckles. You have a wonderful sense of humor.
That's not hereditary, I'm afraid. My father, especially. He thinks W.C. Fields is a buffoon. An American comedian and stage performer.
Ah, I have a brother who is the same way. Nothing is funny to that man.
Sounds like the two of us are the black sheep of our families, then.
There's a lot of smiles between these two. How cute. Black sheep.
The ones who stand out from the rest of the flock.
That's cute. Blush, blush. Smile, smile.
I can't take credit. It's just one of those phrases.
We Germans have a lot of those, but they're mostly about sausage.
You're joking.
I'm not. For instance, we say, Spiel nicht die Bälle die Leberwurst. What does that mean?
Don't play with the sulking liverwurst?
Yeah, don't pout, more or less.
Es ist mir Wurst.
That's my sausage? You use that to mean that something doesn't really matter. Then there's... They're making me read a lot of German for someone who doesn't know German. Okay, we're just gonna skip. Then there's another one.
Everything has an end, only a sausage has two.
You see. I could go on, but I'm sure you don't want to talk about sausages for the rest of the trip.
Oh, I don't know. Sausages can be quite diverting.
Girl! That face. Oh, indeed. Look at them both smiling.
We try our best to hold a straight face, but we end up giggling together like a pair of schoolmates nonetheless. I clear my throat and sit up straight. Okay, I've gotten the dirty jokes out of the way. We have to have an adult conversation now.
You're right. What do adults talk about?
Banks? He makes a face. The weather?
Adults are boring. Maybe we're better off talking about sausages.
Well, I'll ask you a question then. Before you said you could tell I was American by my accent, have you met many Americans?
A few, through business. I had some dealings with a man from New York City. The way he described it made it sound incredible. I'd really love to visit someday. You're not from New York, are you?
No, San Francisco. It's on the West Coast.
What is it like there?
I tell him all about growing up in San Francisco. Most of my memories are of the city under construction after the earthquake and fire of 1906.
That totally makes sense.
As disastrous as it was for the city, my family was relatively unscathed, and by the time I left for Europe, most of the city had been rebuilt. It makes for good storytelling, particularly since my audience has never experienced a quake. I start reminiscing about all the other unique things about my hometown. The cable cars, the Chinese market, the rolling hills. He particularly likes the story of my friends and I using a crate on wheels to skate down said hills, nearly crashing into an apple cart in the process. He calls me Drofganger, which I take to mean daredevil after his explanation of me being absolutely fearless. He's quick to compliment me and expressive as I tell my stories. An avid listener. An hour or two passes like this, him following along, asking more questions about my life, offering the occasional joke, and volleying with me. It's pleasant. I see him check his pocket watch. We're a little over halfway there, I think. I'm feeling a little parched. How about you? A coffee or tea would be lovely. If you're up for a little adventure, we could seek out the dining car. Lead the way. Mein Herr. What does that mean? I don't know. As he takes me through the train cars, he keeps glancing back at me and then smiling to himself. I find myself doing the same. In fact, my cheeks are sore from all the grinning. I've talked to plenty of men before, but never without an aim. This is different. It feels as though we could be friends. After all, we have no shortage of conversation.
I do love... Yes, good conversation is a must. Absolutely.
It's a shame I'll have to leave him behind when we reach Basel. I feel like I could go on forever like this.
Oh, okay, we get a little dining car character sprite here. Okay.
When we reach the dining car, we take a seat for two and Anton orders us coffee. His French is actually not so bad as he claims. Seems like he's modest. I stir the sugar into my coffee, then offer a cube to him. He takes 3. Quite the sweet tooth you have there.
Too few things in life are sweet. Present company excepted, of course.
You must take sweetness where you can find it. That's a lot of philosophy to put into a cup of coffee, but I can't disagree.
The best thing is to just take a piece of chocolate and stir it right into the coffee.
What?
You should really try it, especially once you get to Switzerland. Swiss chocolate is to die for.
Do you have any other Swiss recommendations?
Saffron risotto, it is a specialty.
Saffron?
It is a spice that looks like little red threads. People call it red gold because the threads must be hand-picked from the center of a small purple flower that only blooms in the fall. That makes it hard to come by. But the red is such a beautiful color, not unlike your hair.
Normally, I don't like people commenting on my hair. It always makes me feel self-conscious. When he does it, though, somehow I don't mind.
The saffron turns everything that cooks with it to a brilliant orange, and it smells almost like honey.
Huh, that sounds like heaven.
It is.
His gaze lingers on me a moment as I sip my coffee. I realize with some embarrassment that he's watching my lips. I blush, but he just smiles.
I have to say, I don't think I've had a more pleasant train ride.
He pauses, mulling over his words.
Anton?
Suddenly, he waves his hand. His reverie is seemingly broken.
It's nothing.
'Cause he's a spy! He's an enemy spy. You're on opposite sides.
He's a spy. He's like, I'm always on trains because of work, probably. Oh my gosh, they're like cute though. This is like a complete 180 from like Lillian's interactions with Émile last night. Also, what happened to Émile? I mean, I'm assuming he's gonna show up in Switzerland. He's not just gonna like disappear or anything, but still, it's just kind of like it's just kind of a lot. I do wonder exactly what happened. Like, did he get like detained or something? Not detained, but like maybe something happened. Who knows?
He changes the subject, asking me about where else in Europe I've been. I want to know what he was about to say, but it seems impolite to press it. He pays for our coffees and we head back to our seats.
I like your suit also. It's very nice.
I catch myself smiling as we happen upon each way in which our opinions match. There's something so easy about Anton, almost familiar. Not in the sense that we've met before. I wouldn't forget a man like this, but in the sense that he wouldn't seem out of place if I had met him anywhere in my life. So much of the propaganda I've seen demonizes Germans, makes them seem alien. No doubt there have been brutal acts committed in this war. Away from the battlefield, though, the German people are probably not so very different. As I'm carried away by this line of thought, we fall into a comfortable silence. Anton catches me, giving him a considered look.
I'd give anything to know what you're thinking now.
Anything?
Within reason.
I grin, but my eye is drawn to the rushing scenery out the window. I was wondering what you are like outside of this train. How you spend your days. I see his reflection frown.
I'm sure that can't be interesting to you.
You wanted to know what I was thinking. That's the truth. And you did say you'd give anything. So I think I'll take my payment in the form of an answer. I'm tired of talking about myself.
Well, most of my time goes to work.
It sounds like you don't like your work.
I don't particularly. When I'm home, I'm doing what I can to keep my family happy.
A life of obligation and duty. There is something a little lonely in his eyes, and it feels contagious. My life isn't free of duties and obligations either, but I don't want to think of any of that right now. I'd much rather forget them and just be in the moment. I notice Anton has joined me in looking out the window. His solemnity leaves me feeling a bit guilty. I didn't mean to make you sad. For a split second he seems surprised, but then he shakes his head with a smile.
You did no such thing. It's my fault. My mind drifts to the negative, and, well, it catches one off guard.
Can I share something with you? Something that might sound a bit selfish? I shift myself in my seat to face him head on. Every day, I do one thing that is entirely for myself.
Every day?
Every day. I give myself an extra 10 minutes in the bath, or I'll take the long way home so that I can stop at the bakery that does the best croissants. Don't laugh. They are very good croissants.
I'm with you, girl. You have to stop at the bakery that has the good croissants. I get it. It's a good it's like a self-care treat. It's a little treat for yourself. Such a hedonist.
I slap his shoulder playfully. You ought to give it a try. Promise me you will. I find myself clutching at his sleeve, asking with far more earnest than warranted. He surveys me with amusement before answering.
Are you sure you wouldn't rather ask for something else?
I tilt my head, puzzled by the question.
Because I think I'd promise you just about anything right now. Okay, what a line. Blush, blush.
I feel myself grow hot. I force my eyes to my lap to avoid his penetrating gaze, knowing I might melt if I meet it. I can't remember the last time a man made me feel shy. I brush off most advances with an eye roll. But Anton's words make me break into a wide grin. He leans over, attempting to catch my eye, clearly tickled by my reaction.
Why are you looking away like that? Have I said something awkward?
No. It just made me happy. As our train comes to a stop, I find myself throwing darted glances at Anton. He returns them with smiles, pleased at his effect on me. We stand and start gathering our belongings. He has his little hat on. I find my hat box stowed on the luggage rack just out of my reach. Anton has no trouble retrieving it for me. It's a good thing I made friends with someone so tall.
I hope I brought more to the table than my height.
When you are as short as I am, 5 hours of conversation is a small price to pay to ensure I'll get my things back at the end of the journey.
I should have seen it coming.
Indeed.
So the question is now, do I continue allowing you to use me, or let you manage on your own?
Your assistance would be greatly appreciated in this manner. He mocks, giving the matter consideration, until I start batting my lashes at him.
Well, I can't say no to that.
With that, he picks up my bags and escorts me through the train car. As we exit the train, he is the picture of a gentleman offering his hand to assist not only me, but also the tipsy nun and her sleepy companion. Through the joking and teasing, his arm is strong and steady. Just being with him is so pleasant that I almost forget where we are. The crowds on the platform seem to vanish from my periphery as we walk side by side. It isn't until we come to a halt that the haze lifts. He looks reluctant as he sets down my bags. Well, Lillian, this is where we must part. My heart sinks. These words shouldn't be a surprise. Things were just going to end anyways. It was inevitable. But I foolishly hadn't acknowledged it much until now. It takes a moment for reason to return to me. It was an unexpected pleasure, Anton. He smiles wistfully. Where will you go from here? Home. Back to Berlin. I nod, unsure of what to say now. A silence descends on us, and Anton starts to look sheepish and uncomfortable. The confidence that seemed so much a part of Anton before leaves him. He stares at his feet for a moment before finding my eyes again. I don't suppose that I could write to you.
Absolutely. I know Lillian wants that. Wait, will Lillian want that? But I think, you know what? I love it. Anyways, bold question. Let's go. Let's see what Lillian says.
My mouth goes dry. All the reasons why such a correspondence would be out of the question suddenly flood my mind. I work for the Deuxième Bureau. I can't just exchange letters with someone from an enemy state. For everything that Anton is, sweet, funny, and a perfect gentleman, it doesn't change the fact that he's also a German national, and we are at war. As much as I don't want to, we have to part ways now. Continuing our acquaintance is out of the question. I fumbled for a gentle way to put him off. My situation in Paris isn't really permanent, and I don't know where I will go next. He looks the way I feel, crestfallen. If I didn't have any other responsibilities, as it stands, I have no choice but to turn him down, and I can't even offer him a proper explanation. I watch his face and my gut wrenches. I see. Well, if you ever find yourself in Berlin, perhaps you could look me up. Reaching into his breast pocket, he pulls out a card and hands it to me. Schuttman, A.W. Schuttman. Schuttman Stahlworks. Steel mill in German. The Schuttman family made their money in manufacturing. Okay. The family business. If you contact the office, they'll know how to reach me. Sure, if I'm ever in Berlin.
Lillian is such, like, she's so loyal, like, for the cause. And, like, I mean, obviously, like, Margot trained her and, like, this is her job and stuff, but still, it's like what they were talking about earlier, like, a life of duty and obligation. They are both in the same thing. They're doing the same thing. I know it. Unless they only made one of them a spy. And he's literally just, like, a German national doing his German national things at the time, you know? I don't know. Anyways, we'll see. He probably also is a spy. Like, let's be honest. That, you know, ups the ante a little bit.
I agree, though I know it to be extremely unlikely. The war would have to end, and it won't be over anytime soon.
I forget what year we're in. Is it like 1916? Does it end soon? I can't remember the exact date. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'll look it up, but whatever. We're continuing this conversation.
He probably thinks the worst of me now. I want to kick myself.
Yeah, so I hope you enjoy your visit with your uncle. Auf Wiedersehen, Lillian. Right? It's okay. I just looked it up. Okay, because I'm pretty sure it's 1916. So there's 2 more years. There's 2 more years left. Yeah, like, you can't, like, what are you supposed to do? But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure the story's gonna get us there somehow.
Goodbye, Anton. He opens his mouth like he has something else to say, but opts for a tip of his hat instead. He turns on his heel, and soon he disappears into the crowded platform.
They didn't give me a choice. They only gave me the one choice to wait for Émile earlier, and I kind of want to go back and wait for Émile, but we'll see.
As I stare at the spot Anton was a moment ago, a curious sense of loss washes over me. I've always looked at my career with a DB as something that would free me from the confines of a normal life. I never thought about things that I would miss out on, like meeting someone by happenstance and pursuing that relationship. My life isn't really my own anymore.
It's always that's a big theme that I see, obviously, like with spy people who are spies and doing their spy work, and the thing that they have to give up. Like they're not really, they have to do a lot for whoever they are committed to. They're loyal to whichever country, and that means they can't do things that they would normally do. Not that like they were necessarily really wanting it before, but like it's not like they wanted to completely count themselves out when they join, their spy agency. So it's sad.
I stare down at my feet, not quite willing to move. I have to go. I know I do. But I'm stuck where I stand. If I take a step, then my mission officially begins. This is what I wanted, though. Since the moment Margot sat me down and presented the idea of training under her, I've been working diligently to get where I am now. So why am I torn? She promised me excitement, but more importantly, she promised me that what I did would have an impact. All that is coming true now. All that is coming true. Now I'm on a mission, and someone's life is in my hands. Herbert Denham is counting on me. I can't falter. Not now that I'm at the precipice. Putting Anton Schudman behind me, I take a deep breath and start walking across the platform. First things first, I need to send word back to Margot. Heading to the concourse, I search for a telegraph exchange. E. Not at station. Proceeded alone. L. Et pas la gare. A procéder seul. L.
Okay, that's what it says on the little note.
At least now Margot will know what happened. Maybe she can figure out Émile's whereabouts. With that taken care of, I prepare to enter enemy territory, Germany. The Badischer Bahnhof is an odd train station. It technically resides on the Swiss side of the Rhine, but a series of subterranean tunnels lead to the German border. I follow the posted signage until I reach the back of a long line. Please have your papers ready. It used to be that you could cross borders without any trouble. Since the war broke out, entering most countries requires some sort of travel documentation. I pull out my passport and check it. There should be no issue with mine. After all, Germany is not at war with America. But the last stamp shows that I've been staying in France. Will that be an issue? The line creeps forward slowly as the guards check each person's papers. I'm almost to the front of the line now. Just stay calm. Next. Ah, a bored civil servant. Let's hope his ennui has left him inattentive. I report to the window and slide my passport under the glass. The guard inspects it for a moment before giving me an expectant look. And your travel license? What? You need a passport and a travel license to enter. But I don't have a license. Then you will have to go back to... He glances back at my passport. Paris. I don't have time to go all the way back to Paris. I've got to think of something fast. I'm sorry, miss. Please step out of line. I need a reason to be here that is time sensitive. Maybe I'm visiting relatives, but someone is on their deathbed. I must see my uncle, though. He's sick. The guard looks at me with exhaustion, but I can see there's a dash of pity there as well. I'll use that. I turn my face away for a moment and gently rub my eyes. Hopefully it reads like I'm trying to compose myself. When I look back at him, I keep my eyes wide and will myself not to blink. Right on cue, they start to water. He's very sick. Think sad thoughts. What if I don't make it back in time? The tears start flowing down my cheek. I quicken my breathing. I can't. I hear grumbles of impatience from the people waiting in line behind me. The guard looks deeply uncomfortable. Either he will let me through to avoid a scene, or he'll have to get someone to escort me away.
Tears. Oh, girl. She's like, I'm an actress. I know what I'm doing.
As I'm gearing up for my next push, I feel a hand on my back.
What's wrong?
It's... Anton?
Why am I shocked? I don't know why. I was like, is it Émile? But like, how did you not? Whatever. But it's Anton.
I can't let her through without a license.
He turns from the guard back to me. The warmth I remembered him for is completely absent now. He looks scary as hell. He's in like I'm trying to protect her mode or whatever. His bronze eyes bore down at me, scrutinizing. I start to move my mouth, but words refuse to come. I had told him my uncle was in Switzerland. A dumb mistake. Will he call me out on it here? His expression lacks any indication of what he's about to do next. I level my gaze, imploring him silently. Surely an exception can be made. Is he helping me? He steps between me and the window. I'm grateful for the shield his back provides, as it gives me a moment to recompose myself. Just this once. I see him pull something from his jacket and slide it under the glass. We're bribing. I try to peer over his shoulder to catch a glimpse, but I'm not quite tall enough. The guard looks over whatever was handed to him and pales. She's American. She doesn't know any better. What an excuse. Oh my gosh. Does that work? I mean, like, I'm sure the money helps or whatever. Or, like, maybe he, like, put his little card and was like, do you know who my family is? I don't know. I don't know. But she's American. She doesn't know any better. I'll vouch for her. Yes, sir. Oh, wait. What just happened? The guard slides everything back under the glass to my rescuer. As he turns back to me, I see my passport on top of the sack. All right, please proceed. What kind of person has that much sway? Apparently, family got it's either his family is real wealthy / like whatever, like they have great influence, and or two, he did something about his spy. Like it's something about if he's a spy, he has other associations and he uses that influence. That's my guess. Who exactly is Anton? He places his hand on my lower back and guides me through the turnstile. The crowds on the German side of the station are thinner and full of armed soldiers. Fortunately, they pay us no mind as we hasten down the corridor. His hand is still fixed firmly on my back, urging me along. We stop in front of the public telephones, none of which are currently in use. Seemingly satisfied that we are far enough away from the checkpoint, he unfolds my passport. Lillian Talora Sinclair. I look at him unexpectedly. Expectantly. Isn't he going to give my passport back? Why is he reading it? Just as I open my mouth to ask, he fixes me with a look. Not the soft, honeyed gaze he gave me before, but a hard, stony one. It makes my blood run cold. I didn't think we would be seeing each other again. Nor I. At least not so soon, right? I offer a sheepish smile, but he doesn't return it. The man inspecting my coffee, my passport, is now completely different from the one who sipped coffee with me in the dining car just hours ago. I wouldn't have thought the same man would treat me so coldly now. Suspicion has transformed him. But he did still help me, I think, though I'm not sure how he managed to do it. I attempt to re-engage him with a tentative question. Anton, how were you able to get me past that guard? Anton doesn't look up. He seems to be checking every line. Nevertheless, he answers, albeit brusquely. I bribed him. Security in this country is a joke. Lillian, what are you doing here? There is a faint tinge of exasperation in his voice, as if he's been inconvenienced in some way. Like I told you before, I'm visiting my uncle. Yes, in Switzerland. But here you are in Germany. My pulse begins to quicken. Why the hell did I ever make up that story? He was supposed to meet me at the station, but I couldn't find him. Luckily, he left word with the station master that I'm to meet him in Lorac. He narrows his eyes but says nothing. He took ill very suddenly. I'm sure there's a very good doctor here who can treat him. He must be in a serious illness to put you in such a state. He's family. Of course I'm upset. With each prodding question, I spit out another lie. A panic begins to surge inside me, that combined with the betrayal I feel might be enough to make me crumble. How long can I keep this up? Are we at the end of the demo? Okay. Okay, I'm intrigued. How long can you keep that? I mean, it's your first mission, so it's like a little hard to do that. That was wonderful. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That was great. Wonderful. Love to see it. I'm a little. Thank you for playing the demo for Love and Country. I'm a little obsessed with this. You're asking if I want to make a different choice? Absolutely, I would love to make a different choice. So I immediately went to go make a different choice, and that was a very long uh chain, like a very long time coming. So I decided that I'm going to split this end part of the demo where we have Anton's part and we have Émile's part. So you're getting me now where I am recording an outro. Um, yeah, I guess I can leave some thoughts about more thoughts about what I thought about the Anton the choice that led to Anton and Lillian meeting. I thought it's really sweet. I like the two of them together in terms of like their personalities seem to very much complement each other and they seem to share a great deal of humor and it seems more easygoing and effortless between the two of them. Their big problem is that he's a German national. She's not. She's American, and she also is like, in France. And what he doesn't know is that she's a spy, and maybe he's a spy. Who knows? I don't know. I still bet that he's a spy for whatever reason. Because, like, why was he just, like, out for business? Like, yeah, he could have been doing the family business stuff in France, but, like, why would he? Like, maybe I just know nothing. Maybe I'm totally wrong. But, whatever. That's just going to be a contention point for those two. And I don't know exactly how we're going to get around it. I'm sure we'll see in the full game, and it's going to be lovely. Whenever this game comes out in full, I am so excited to see the rest of it. It's such lovely art, and I like the music that we get, and like the not just like the art for the characters, like we get different like character sprites and like CGs with subtle different expressions. That's really fun, and these kind of like mini CGs that kind of supplement the story as we go along. But the backgrounds are so beautiful and gorgeous, and I just love looking at them. And so seeing all of this has been a real treat and is making me really excited for when the full game will come out. But no pressure, obviously, to the game devs. I hope everyone is happy, safe, and healthy, and is able to work on the project as they can in those manners, especially healthily. That's important. So yeah, I really like Anton and Lillian and Anton together. We'll see how they hopefully get together in the full game. Though I was reminded by looking at the trailer slash teaser of the game that there are four endings. So I'm assuming this is like two positive, two negative endings overall, one each for the different love interests. Yes, so we'll see. Um, anyways, yeah, that's kind of all I have. Please like the video if you haven't already, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of Love and Country. The final part will be making a different choice at the train station. And I'm sure we'll get to spend more time with Monsieur Émile a little bit more. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye!